Alrighty, Daybreak, and it's the second game between MajorCwolf and Cwolf playing Terran this time. The green Terran in the top right here, and down in the bottom, Januzaj playing as the blue Protoss. I'm going to try and be better this time. This map is Daybreak, and this is one of the greatest StarCraft maps ever. I've had so many awesome games on this. This does go back a while, this map, and again we're looking at the older version of the game where both players start with 6 workers. But yeah, what a great map. The epic battles that I've had on this map, superb. So as a Terran, Daybreak has a very, very long walk to try and rush anything on this map. Let me just show you how long that walk is. You need to come down here, you need to go around here, you need to cross over here, and then it's all the way up this way. You can't get in there. Oh yeah, you can. And then in. It's a long, long walk around. It has these watchtowers. Yep. Here and here, roughly in the middle of the map. So tends to be a macro map. It's relatively easy to see your opponent coming. It's a long rush distance, and it's a big old map. So let's see what these two players throw out. There is some bad news. I haven't finished the kettle chips yet. There we go. I'm interested to see what MajorCwolf does as Terran in the last game. Pumped out some roaches, went forth and killed his opponent reasonably effectively. In this game we have 1 Rax, we have a 2nd Rax coming down. That is fairly suspicious. Januzaj has this assimilator but isn't mining from it. I don't know if that's a mistake or if he has some nefarious plan related to having just assimilators. Single gateway coming down, and Januzaj with a little bit of money in the bank may choose to go for an expo here, although in the older versions of the game it was uncommon for Protoss to expand before they put down their sab core. Yep, the orbital command upgrade already done on the command center here. So look, this little guy has a timer on him. This orbital command allows you to drop those mules on the mineral patches, and these mules mine faster than SCVs. If you're not used to using them as a Terran, what you sometimes find, a little bit of scouting going on here, what you sometimes find is you're not set up to handle the spike in mineral income that you get from dropping mules. So you quite common to see a Terran drop mules, especially if they've forgotten to drop them in a while and they've got enough energy to drop 2 at once, and suddenly they're pulling large amounts of minerals, and they just don't have the infrastructure to turn that successfully into units fast enough. Scouting worker got killed, but not before he got to see everything. So forge down for Januzaj. That's going to enable him to build perhaps some cannons defensively, but also enables him to do these upgrades. Nothing being upgraded as yet, so let's see what he's got in mind for that. Perhaps some defensive cannons. Things looking pretty normal over here. 1 reactor, 1 tech lab going down. So the twin racks reactor tech lab combo used to be pretty common. Typically it would happen a little bit earlier, but it used to be a fairly common sort of thing. If you were going to rush the tech lab researching combat shield, which isn't a typical choice for the first upgrade, but is an important upgrade nonetheless. So everything progressing very nicely here. There is that photon cannon that I suspected might be coming down for the Protoss player. That will give him a little bit of protection against stuff that comes up the ramp, comes in to have a look, or comes in to have a little bit of a poke. You know, a photon cannon is a reasonably tough thing and does a reasonable amount of damage. So that will certainly help out, but don't expect a single photon cannon to see off a serious push. They are very useful though for protecting you against sort of harass and that sort of stuff. Right. Mm-hmm. 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 Good. So, +1 attack coming in for the Terran is absolutely the right choice against Protoss. And in general, if you're going to be building Marines, +1 attack is generally the right choice. The reason I say that, Marines have a fairly weak weapon, only does 6 damage, but it shoots repetitively very fast. So an extra +1 on that turns it into 7, and that gets multiplied up by the number of shots. So that's very, very useful. If you're playing against Terran, then armor tends to be the upgraded choice, because +1 armor negates one of those 6. And again, that gets multiplied up by each shot of the Terran Marines. So the Protoss player is indeed upgrading armor, and that's the correct choice. Unlike the newer version of the game, in this older version, the Nexus does not automatically chrono boost stuff. You have to choose what to chrono boost, and it isn't a continuous process either. So I suspect Januzaj perhaps not aware of that, because the chrono boost not being used at all on the Nexus. And that will be a slight disadvantage. Typically, a Protoss player can have more workers than a Terran in the early game, because it can use chrono boost to pump those out slightly faster, and the Terran makes up for that with mules. So mules are being used here, but no chrono being used over here. So there will be an income imbalance. There it is. So Zealots again coming out for the Protoss player. And Zealots are an alright unit, but they do not tend to fare very well against ranged units. So this is sort of plenty of Zealots. I'd really like to see him switching it up, and does intend to switch it up, but these units that are queued, unfortunately at present not being built, because we are supply blocked here. A couple of pylons need to come down pretty sharpish. These units that are queued do represent a significant amount of minerals. Look, Stalkers at 125 each, Zealots at 100 each. Look how much is in this queue, look how much is in this queue. More than enough to drop and expand, and drop another couple of gateways. By the time the first units in these queues are finished, you've got enough money to start up the next ones. So additional cannons coming down, and finally the pylon to get them out of this supply block. My fear is that once again MajorCwolf is just going to walk across the map here and only face Zealots and put quite a lot of hurt on. So here they come. They are, strolling across the map, meaning business, I would say. Meaning business. And I do not think that there is really any hope that the Protoss player is going to be able to hold this with just Zealots. Not much hope at all. Especially given that there's these Marauders with concussive shell in the mix. Those Zealots aren't really going to do an awful lot. A bit of an unnecessary stim to run forward and kill that worker, but you sure did get it. Probably sensible to just pull out the range of those. There are enough pylons behind these to support those cannons, so don't focus the pylons, focus the cannons. As you can see, a pylon is 200, 200, a cannon is only 150, 150, so it's actually easier to kill a cannon than it is to kill a pylon. So you'd only really focus the pylons if a single pylon is powering 2 cannons, and that's their only source. But yeah, it's beginning to look like this is very much the GG. And is it just me, or are the sound effects in this getting much louder than they were before? Bloody hell. Yeah. So, MajorCwolf looking pretty convincing, both as a Zerg and as a Terran. These units coming across the map are 1-1, so it wasn't shy with the upgrades either. First to 100. Yeah, it's all over. Okay. So a little bit different, these two games, a little bit different. The older style of StarCraft, a little bit different. Perhaps that's what MajorCwolf is used to. So I'll be interested to see his next game, to see how that goes. Unlucky Januzaj. I don't know whether or not you were used to the newer style of StarCraft, or whether you're not used to any StarCraft at all, but not able to match the production of the Cwolf on this occasion. Alright folks, GG, well played.